Shreyas, let me see what you got. Mario, that's a good. So you got light. Hey, you know what? Shreyas, this thing moved really funky yesterday, so I'd just be a little bit mindful that it just doesn't have. Man, it was a tough nut to crack yesterday for some reason. It took me like 2 tries. I still don't think it made up for the stress. Morning, everybody. What's going on? Hey, Mario, this one has very little volume, so you have to be careful on that. This Venom, you can put that on the watch list too, but this does very little volume too. Both of those are going to be a little bit more tricky for you to trade. Jason, I like the Riot Mara. I would even maybe try if the market runs. You've got a couple stocks on the 200 SMA. That's good. Morning, guys. Holla Dalla. Guys, we have a small gap up in the market today, 0.8%. We've been in crash mode, I would say, for the last, we've been in crash mode here for the last, few days. That's how it feels, right? When you see all your stocks on your watch list dumping like 10%. It feels in crash mode. Now, we are oversold. We are due for a pop. The issue, I think, is now we've just gapped up 0.8% on the QQQs. We've sucked out some of the range, and now we're like kind of back in this other box. I think that's going to make it a little bit more tricky. We could go literally either way today. If we had gapped down, I think because we're totally outside the lower Bollinger Band, if we had gapped down into like this, down over this way, I mean, we would have had a very, very easy long. This will make it a little bit more tricky just because of the gap. We don't know if it fades and we red roll or if the first dip is bought. So we may have to just sit out the open for a hot second. You guys remember yesterday we're getting chopped up at the open, then the trend set, and then after that, after the trend set, the whole day was easy. Then it was like everything was trending. But what ended up happening was, right, like, if you made your guess too early, at the open before the trend set, there was all this kind of like wah, 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 right? And then the trend said the day was easy. And I noticed this a lot because I also dug myself in a monster cock fucking hole yesterday, just going commando at the open. And then, then you're playing catch up the rest of the day. So it's important to kind of preserve your mental capital. And the market gapped down pretty big yesterday. And that's what kind of made it a little bit tricky. So you can see that, like, right, like even like stuff like this coin, like the first 5, 10, 15 minutes are like a little bit tricky. Then once the trend sets, like you have so much range, we may have to do that today due to the size of the gap. When you have a flat open, it's easier to read and react. When you have a big gap, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. Now, I will say a couple things that are a positive. Look, the S&P 500 is on the 50 SMA. The S&P 500 is on the 50 SMA. You're also about 20 stochastic, so you are oversold here. You have the Dow that is sitting on the 50 SMA also. So we have the recipes for a bounce day. If you actually look here, the Dow does like to bounce off this 50 SMA zone. It has been doing it. Let me get a better chart here. And it has been doing it for all of, I guess this would be 2020, man, 2021, right? 2021. You can see it does like to bounce off this area. So in general, if tech doesn't bounce, which could be fine because it's in a different location, some of your, larger cap, like grandpa kind of stocks are going to be going, and they've been leading the way this year anyways. So this would be like your JP Morgans, BAs, Walmarts, healthcares, Triple M's, so on and so forth, Goldman Sachs, Disney's, so on and so forth. And so you have a lot of these that are, pulled back. If the Dow holds there, those are probably going to be the ones to bounce. On the S&P 500, obviously they have a little bit of a different mix of stocks than the Dow. But you can see here, like if you do a 90-day sort, if you do a 90-day store, you have a whole host of nice trenders in the S&P 500. So there's a couple of these. I see this new core, nasty down day, but already pulled back to the 9. Like that could be something. Like see this EOG, you had a flat top breakout here. Now you got a nice 3-day pullback into the 9 and old breakout spot. That could be something. So you have 2 locations here in the Dow, the SPY. So if you try to go long, those are stocks in those indexes will move better with your long bias if that's where it is. The tech stocks, we're gapping up, but we're still in no man's land, meaning we could bounce because we're just oversold, but that doesn't mean anything. Oversold can become more oversold, and the price action has been really nasty. So we just need to be kind of mindful of those, different parameters today. Let's take a look at the earnings plays, and then we'll go back and kind of look at some stocks I think, could be movers today. Did coin earnings already come out, or is that after hours? Anybody know? Compass stars, blah, blah, blah. Looks like they're not out yet. Got it. Thank you. MFG. All right, let's take a look at the gappers and let's see what's going on. I'm just going to ixnay, some of these small caps out of it. It's a very tricky environment anyways. And, my preference would just be that you guys go for easy plays. That's just my preference. My preference to go for easy plays. In the tough market with a lot of range, you really want to pick the stocks that are going to give you the least amount of stress. And the reason is that there's a lot of herky-jerkiness in the markets right now where you're long, then you're short, then you're long, and then you're short. So it's just easier. Try to keep the cleanest stocks possible in terms of range and, that are going to give you the least amount of shakeouts. I was seeing some of you guys trade this shit yesterday, and I mean, how can you trade that? Wick, little penis, little penis, little penis, little penis, little penis, big penis, little penis. I mean, it's untradeable. What is the point of having that on your watch list beyond just, hey, I trade for a hobby and a little bit of adventure. If that's what you want, get yourself in a threesome. That'll be a lot different. But if you want to actually trade it for money, right? Like money, where it's not a hobby, then you have to stay away from this junk because that's what it is. It's junk. And I only say that because it's the truth. So just be mindful of these things. VRM, room soaring after Q1 results, racing past Wall Street expectations, guys, revenue above. You know what? Something like this is a hot mess of a chart. It might be able to squeeze. It's not been a good market for earnings, but if the market doesn't collapse today, then some of these earnings plays may actually follow through. This Sono's got earnings out too. I'm almost more gearing towards maybe a fade on this one due to the location of it. I would keep this on the watch list too. It's going to be a read and react play. But if it stalls out at this 9 EMA, we're probably going to have to fade this. Casper mattresses, sleeps post narrower loss, revenue advances. Casper mattress. Man, they got some nice commercials. Anybody ever seen a Casper mattress commercial? That's a nice commercial. Now this stock does almost no liquidity. It's got a shitload of volume recently. You got a level here. It is an IPO. It's only got a 24 million share float. Now the caveat is that these are not, earnings plays haven't been reacting very well, but I'm going to just add it for now. If the market goes on a run today, then those kind of stocks will start to push. UPST, junk. AMC, junk. The reason AMC is junk is just because it's too thick to play. And it's also another one that's a grinder. It fakes out. I mean, it's a matter of ease. XPA's got earnings at adjusted loss narrows, revenue grows, blah, 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 blah. it's on a big support level here. This might be another one that just pops for a hot second. I'm going to add it to the list because it is a forward runner. I have no faith that it can hold. But if the market starts to fly, if today's, turnaround day, rebound day, at some point, then these will go. Let me see if the Goose Island is... The Goose Island I thought was after hours, but it might be already. Swings, the fiscal adjusted revenue improved, blah, blah, blah. Hey, the Goose Island now, out of all the gappers, this actually has the best chart. The Goose Island has the best chart. You got a range break there at 44. You got a range break at 44. This stock has held up well. Also, apparel manufacturing, whatever this sector is. So this is not a beer company, which I thought it was a beer company. Anybody ever had a Goose Island beer? It's not bad. Now, these guys don't make beer, but apparel manufacturing has been a hot sector for this whole year. So this has been a hot sector. You've got a range break here. This actually probably could work. Now, if you notice, like from the pre-market action, what do you notice about this thing? The liquidity is going to stink, right? I mean, it's going to stink. Anything over 44, I'm interested. We're going to need to see at least 500,000 shares fire off at the open, before we're, even interested. This area, holy shiites. Well, we know what happened to this thing. This was a fake solar company for a hot second. You probably get a day 2 play out of that. That's, holy shit. That's amazing. Down 40%, 40 million shares. Yo, so, I mean, this you could probably get a day 2 play out of it. If it takes out, the previous day's lows, why not? We need a couple shorts anyways. Los Tigres, nothing. Probably leave that alone, RMO. Soxel junk. Hey, if we need a short too, this future's got a big breakdown setting up. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing kind of roll over into 100 if the market doesn't bounce. I definitely keep this on the watch list too, and I'm going to kind of reiterate all this stuff in a second. Billy's got earnings out, adjusted, loss widens, revenue increases. This is probably another one that, all these Chinese stocks getting smoked. The 5% gap, we may be actually potentially get a little fade spot on this one too. You got a ton of resistance on this one. Let's see. I'd add that one, Billy, Future, as potential faders. See, LI's popping because of XPEV, jump. Let's see what's going down on the downside. Chris, this one will be hard to get borrows. Posh. Dun. This one might have low liquidity. This could be low stamina. Now you got a big breakdown over here. There's an IPO breakdown. You know what? If it has liquidity, I don't know if it'll come in. This is going to be big breakdown. If it has liquidity, this is a big breakdown. I actually put this on the list, but it won't be a priority unless it has some volume so I can get in and out of it. Now, Wish is a monster cock turd. This thing is a huge turd. Loss widens, revenue trail street view. That's a no buenos. Yeah, this is prime time for the gap down. It's only gapping down about 12%. Add that to the short list. Dun. Right. Hey, now this riot is actually kind of interesting. Where is the 200? How close are we to it? Let's see this thing. We are still a little bit away. Once this thing fades the gap, what do you guys got on this? About 22? Put an alert. I put an alert around 22, maybe 23. This is going to be a nice bouncer if we get there. So let this thing spike down at the open. It's already gapping down. and Bitcoin was already getting kind of a little bit weak last night. Let this thing gap down. It's, oh man, they may have tested into the pre-market, motherfuckers. Good. Yeah, we've been only, Daniel, we've only been shorting stocks for the last, I don't know, guys, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't think we've really taken any longs. If the market reverses, maybe this one off the 200. Good. Now this I like. Hey, Baba's a thick little noodle. You know, meaning like the float on it's huge. But you got a big breakdown spot there. Armand's right. I think this is probably top of the list for the short side. You can't short this too low because it's a thick stock. What you really need to do is kind of let it set up. It may have to pop a little bit, but you've got a big breakdown over here and a longer term rollover pattern. I mean, we could see this thing, you know, sub 200 in the next couple days. I like this one, Armand. Good eye. So you got Baba, GMIA, turd. I would say the only long that I like for today is probably this Roblox. You know, you had your earnings out a couple days ago. You had one rest day, what we'd call an inside day. If the market cooks, this is our number one long. If the market cooks, this is our number one long. If we need faders, right, we have already, right, been shredding off on, we had inside day on Peloton. That's a potential fader, right? We still can play on Baidu. If this Baba gets smoked, then I think Baidu comes in and takes out these lows. If Baba gets smoked, then this thing will get smoked out too. We add that to the short list. We had inside day yesterday on run. If the market rolls over, we can keep shorting this one too. We've got a nice location on it. All right. Now we got a whole host of gappers. If the market decides to run, like it did not yesterday, but 2 days ago, you know, we've got Vroom, Sono, Casper, but this one I'm not that keen on because it's got no liquidity. Possibly XPEV, possibly Goose Island. And then we got Airy, Billy, and Wish on the short side. Wish is probably the best out of those due to the fact that it's got an IPO breakdown. I think we may have a little bit of fun. Guys, it's very natural. There's two things we need to remember today. Earnings plays, gapper plays, we're not holding up yesterday. Now, the day before, you know, we had DDD and a bunch of stocks, right, really cooking. But then yesterday it was a huge liquidation. This inflation news that came out yesterday, that's not going away, all right? That's not going away. Like, that concern is 100% real, and you know we have to be very, very careful. Just because the market's up 0.9% today does not necessarily mean that we are going to make a move. So we got to be really mindful today of just the overall market conditions, which is that they've been weak. We've got a cross current here, which means the price action has been weak, but we are oversold. The price action's been weak, but we are on support. So we have a little bit of confliction, which is we're on big support. We know the Dow bounces off this all the time, but the short-term price action has been awful, right? And yesterday really took the cake. So at the open, we have to trade probably half size till we figure out what's going on. The key is going to be inevitably the first dip. If the first dip holds, then the market is probably going to bounce for, you know, next few hours or the day. If it doesn't and we go green to red, then it's just short city all day and we, you know, play what we did the day before. All right, and we just short the shit out of everything, and that's where the action is going to be. This is not a linear market like it was, a few months ago, right? In like January stuff. This is not a linear market like that where you wake up and you just long stocks and you make money. In this type of market, this is a trader's market. You can make more money than here, but it's harder. Your actual trading skills have to come out, and you have to, manage your risks, have good entries, like stuff that we've always had to do. It's just last year we didn't have to do them because the market was easy. So everybody is a pro. Now, markets change, but you make just as much money. It just has to be, you got to be a trader. That's just how it goes. This is a no swing trading environment, meaning no overnights. Overnights are for suckers right now. I haven't had any overnights in 2 months. It's a day trading environment only. No overnights, no small caps, no turds. That's our list. I'm sticking to it. I don't know if we're going to be longing or shorting at the opens. We go half size and we do what we have to do. Good. Hey, Terry, let me look here. FEYE. This one's stuck inside a range. I'm not sure if I like that one per se. PRGL is also stuck at a little bit of resistance. I'd add those to the list, but I would stick with stocks that have a lot of volume and a ton of range right now. Liquidity is everything in this market, meaning don't worry so much about, pattern. What you need is stocks with big range and got tons of liquidity. And then you can trade back and forth, because most days right now you have to be long and short in the same day. So that's our list. I'm sticking to it. Trade safe, trade fast, no overnights, no small caps, half size at the open till the trend sets. Once the trend sets, you put the hammer of death and you go commando, show the mother market what's up. That's the list I'm sticking to. Let's go have some fun.